Strike nurse contracts offering nurses $300 per hour?
What the hell did you just say?
What's good, you guys? NWA here, Nurse Pat. Today we dropping some heat as well as some news. Now, I don't know if you've seen yet, but on social media there's been something that's been circulating around, and that's this Reddit post that was saying that there's a strike nurse contract in New York City offering $300 an hour for nurses. And this is as a short-term strike contract. I don't know if this is true or not. Just quick Google searches. I don't personally see this contract open in job post. Maybe it's filled already. Who knows? But it stems off the news of two big New York City hospitals going on strike. Digging a little bit into the topic, the strike is based upon negotiations with the hospital regarding safe nursing ratios, critically short staffing, as well as wage increases to combat inflation. Those hospitals had their union contracts expired around the same time. And there's apparently as much as 7,100 nurses striking from a combined two hospitals. That's a lot of nurses.
That's quite big. Impressive.
And I feel for y'all, to be honest.
I can see it in your eyes, you're angry.
All of those things that you're striking for are important, and I'm glad you're staying strong. Now, why is this important? Many hospitals will be negotiating their contracts with nurse unions because they're expiring. Typically, nurse and union contracts range anywhere from like 3 to 4 years. Mine personally is due to expire sometime in April this year as well. Now, I've already mentioned in a previous video about how a lot of hospitals in the Bay Area, California, are having their union contracts negotiated and having like 22% or more wage increases over the span of 4 years. If you haven't checked out that video already, I'll leave a little clicky thing at the top if you're interested. Now, these hospitals that are on strike typically will hire travel nurses short term as strike contracts. Basically, these travel nurses will work for incredibly high compensation, wage, food, housing, even travel, in order to work, right? The hospital still has to function. People are still sick. And they'll work basically until the strike ends. For travel nurses up for the challenge, imagine $300 an hour for a 12-hour shift. That's $3,600. Jesus. Just run away from Uncle Sam. Now, I'm willing to bet that these New York City hospitals aren't going to be the last with these strikes this year. And it'll probably be regarding similar negotiations. Stanford was already on strike last year for this until, the hospital and the union came upon an agreement. And they had strike contracts for nurses, some travel nurses who came. And from word of mouth, I heard that these OR travel nurses were making bank, like serious bank. I'm pretty sure it was around that $300 an hour. Now, of course, there's gonna be cons to this. Number one is, of course, patient care and safety. Now, arguably, it's a lot easier for a travel nurse to make a mistake while at work in the hospital that they're not familiar with, right? I mean, that'll happen to any of us. Less familiar with the environment, knowing where equipment is, familiarizing yourself with the protocols, policies of that hospital. It's very different, especially with a very minimal orientation that they get. Hopefully those strikes don't last long, as it does put patient safety at risk. Now, these New York hospitals are doing things to mitigate that. They are going on diversion. So like with the ER, they're diverting ambulances as well as canceling non-emergent surgeries. This helps take a little bit load off. To the bystanders and non-health professionals, these nursing strikes could be seen at a negative light. And that's just because they don't understand what we go through in the hospital. Nurses don't simply choose to strike, right? They kind of have to, because if they don't, then they're just gonna get manipulated by the higher ups in the hospital and continue to get taken advantage of. Enemy spotted. They obviously have the funds to compensate nurses. They just simply choose not to, and they try their best not to. And that's because their primary goal is hospital finances and productivity. Now, if you work at a hospital, I'm sure you've noticed, now with this trashy economy, hospitals are trying to budget and cut down on costs on anything that they can. Maybe you've noticed little chibi cups, straws, changes in your inventory, food, different saline flushes, ghetto equipment, whatever, this is real. If they can say to do something, they will do it. A hospital is a company. A hospital is a business. Well, enough rant about that. I know it's a dicey subject, too much politics. I don't want to get too much into that. Let me know what you think about the situation. Would you ever consider strike nurse contracts? Leave a comment below. And also be sure to like and subscribe to support your boy if you haven't already. And as always, stay safe, stay humble. I'm out.